Hello everybody and welcome to another Bello's Designs tutorial. This is Linda and thank you for coming. I hope you love this video as much as I loved making it. And what you're going to need is a 12 by 12 canvas. It's already primed with gesso. Also, so that you know, if you don't want to do it on canvas or can't, you could always use these same techniques I teach today on a card and turn it into a card to give to that special someone. Here I'm showing a heart-shaped stencil. If you don't have a stencil or can't get this one, you could get a 12 by 12 sheet of paper or any size, fold it in half, draw half of that heart shape, and then cut it out and you've got your stencil. So now I'm going to be showing you the supplies. This is the Lavinia Mystical Swirl 589. You can find all these supplies down below in the list with links. You'll need a glitter pen, and I used this special angled brush. I'm showing a mechanical pencil, but I didn't use that except on the card. This is VersaFair Clair ink, and again, and that's Nocturne. You can, Mystical Fog was the first one. This is Chianti. All these supplies with their links are down below. When you're working on the canvas, because it's raised up, you're going to need to have something hard underneath it within the frame. So that way, when you press down, you're not denting your canvas or creating a problem. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to follow the line of the heart, and you use the light gray color Morning Mist first for your shadows, and you follow it with Chianti. And I'm now working on the other side, so make sure whenever you are ready to work on the other side, the book moves along with you. Don't forget about your book. You need that hard surface to work on. Here I'm showing where I'm angling the brush strokes, curving them to help give the illusion that the heart is puffing up and off the canvas itself. That is something that is really important if you want to create that 3D kind of look. I used the gray for the shadows, I used black for the edges, and I used Chianti for the overall color, where you can use it lighter to darker for the heart itself. Once you get it to this point where you have as much of the color down as you would like, then you're going to start with the stamping. You'll need a stamp block for this, and of course the stamp attached to it. And there's an example of what you can do on a card. But anyway, we're going to go ahead and get started on the stamping itself. And I'm left-handed, so I turn the canvas a lot so that I can get it just right. You're going to want to move your canvas around, especially if it's bigger, because you want to get the stamps just right. After you ink your stamp and you figure out where you want to position it, and having it go off the stencil or onto the stencil is fine, you're going to press hard, and it may not come out exactly yet. See right there, it's both good and faded. That's okay, because that gives the illusion that there are pieces closer and pieces farther away. You'll see that happen off and on, where I have things closer and far away, and that happens just because of when I stamped with the block. Sometimes it's stamped really great, and then sometimes it didn't stamp very well at all and it came out blotchy. The more I do stamp, the better the stamping seems to get. Also, the more that your stamp is near the edge of the stencil, you might have more of the ink not actually getting where you want it to, and that's just a matter of making sure you press down hard enough. Also want you to know, this is an important note, the VersaFair ink is slower to dry, and this is going to work to your advantage later on when we get to the part about blending even more. So make sure you don't touch the ink that's on the stencil, leave that alone. You're going to use that again after your stamping is all done. So here I am twisting and turning and trying to find the right places to stamp. This particular one right here did not stamp very well at all, but it's okay because it looks like it's disappearing, which also helps with the illusion of making the heart look like it's three-dimensional and coming out at you. So the parts of the heart that are closer to you, the ink should be darker as well as highlighted. And I'm following the shape of the heart the best that I can so that it doesn't look like it's straight lines on a curved surface. Don't want that. Playing around some more with where I'm going to place it. I just really love this stamp by Lavinia. It's beautiful and it's so versatile. You can use it in so many different ways. See how I keep flipping it around? That's okay, do that. Flip it around, move it around until you find that sweet spot and you say, yeah, that's exactly where it's meant to be. Boom. And you put it down and you have a stamp, see? Now again, it got light, see, towards the edge there, but that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. We're going to use that to our advantage. On these last two stamps, for that one I did the tip of the stamp. See, we're just at the tip there. And then for this last stamp, I did half of the stamp because I was trying to get it a little bit darker towards the edge, just to get a little more character going on in there. And there we go. All right, now on to the next step. Okay, that's what it looks like. And now we're moving on to the next step, grabbing Nocturne VersaFine ink and back to my same blending brush. I'm going to be adding black in around the edges to deepen those shadows and make this heart pop really well off the canvas. Again, I'm going to go with the same direction as the shape itself. But if you notice, I'm starting to use the ink that was left on the stencil. I'm grabbing it and smearing it onto the heart. That way I get both black and Chianti mixed together to create the deeper shadowing effect. So when you're smearing your ink, depending on how much ink is where, you might think that you're going to get too much ink. That's okay. Just, you don't have to drag it straight down. You can pull it across. See there? It's working really nice. I added some more black because right here where the indentation is, it's going to be darker because less light can reach that area. So if you don't have the light coming from above, like I do, and around, maybe you have it coming from one side only. You got to figure that out from the start. You're going to remember that you want the dark black added to the opposite sides or furthest points from your light source. And I just keep deepening the crevice here and the edges. I'm keeping the sides lighter than the tops and the bottom. Okay? It helps it to pop off the canvas. Because the VersaFine ink was still wet, it smeared some of the stamp work I did on the heart, but that's okay because you want that blurred effect for helping you with the curve. Now that my surface is dry after using the craft dryer, I grab my glitter gel pen to do the next set. This is where I go over not all that you stamp. Don't worry, we're not doing that. We're creating beautiful glittery illusion to lift your card to the next level. And I'm not going to show you every single line that I went over, but watch as I tilt it and you can see where I did go over some of the lines. I made swirls and I added the glitter in all these different ways. It looks so pretty. And it just depends on where you're standing and what kind of light you have going on, because there you go, that all disappeared, but it's coming back again. So this is just one of the fun things I love about adding the glitter over the swirls that you stamped on. Okay, now that the heart is done, it's time to grab your inks to do the backdrop and edges. I'm using the Distress inks here, which is optional. You can still go back to your VersaFine inks if you wanted to. Either will work just fine. I just use Distress inks out of habit. It's something I do for a lot of my work. I'm using black soot right here for all the corners, because I always make my corners darkest. Excuse me. And Lost Shadow is going to be added after I'm done using the black. So I'm going to go around. You can do the edges completely, not just the like the sides, I mean, and create a black frame. I'm not going to show that in this video, but if you want to do that, that would look nice, so that way it looks complete when it's on the wall. There, the black's done. Now I'm grabbing Lost Shadow, and I'm going in with a very light hand to start. I bring it from the corners in. And if you notice that the light keeps kind of going in and out, it's because the sun is making up its mind about going down. So clouds are playing with the sun as well. So the light's going up and down as a result. So I'm adding in all of the Lost Shadow Gray. And you may not want to do this, or you may want a different color completely. If you were to choose a different color, I highly recommend any of the pretty browns for a vintage look. If you wanted to go in that direction, you could, you don't even have to do black for the edge work. You could use, if you want a vintage look, you could use darker browns on the edges with lighter browns coming in. That would look great. If you have a striped stencil, you could do a striped backdrop for your heart. You have lots of options there, so you could have a lot of fun with this. Okay, grab your craft dryer and do this final drying for your canvas, and then it'll be completely done, and you can have something wonderful to hang up on your wall. And here it is. Thank you for coming today. I hope you had a great time. I know I did, and I can't wait to see you again. Please like and subscribe, and make sure you watch all the videos coming up. Love and hugs. Remember that strange sound? Now a word from our sponsor.